Commander Thax floated in his ship's command center, staring at the reports from Earth. His tentacles twisted around each other like angry snakes. The humans were supposed to be dying or at least begging for mercy. Instead, they seemed to be having some kind of shopping festival. Lieutenant Vex approached carefully, holding a datapad. "Commander," he said nervously, "the humans have purchased over 50 million packages of small paper rectangles in the last 24 hours. They call them tissues. They are also buying liquid medications at record rates." Thax could not believe what he was hearing. On his home planet Valnoria, introducing foreign pollen into the environment was like dropping poison gas. It would kill plants instantly and make the air toxic for months. The idea that any living creature could survive concentrated pollen exposure seemed impossible. "Show me the surveillance footage," Thax demanded. The main screen displayed scenes from Sol. Humans were walking around with white masks over their faces. Some were sneezing constantly, but they were still going to work, going to school, even playing games in the parks. Children were running through the pollen clouds, laughing as they sneezed. One human was using a machine to blow the pollen off the sidewalk, treating the deadly biological weapon like ordinary dirt. Another was collecting the pollen in bags and putting it in trash containers like it was garbage that needed to be cleaned up. "This makes no sense," Thax said. "How are they surviving? Our pollen should have destroyed their respiratory systems by now." What Commander Thax did not understand was that humans had been dealing with plant pollen for their entire evolutionary history. Every spring for millions of years, plants on Earth had been shooting pollen into the air. Human bodies had developed systems to handle airborne plant particles. It was annoying, but not deadly. Dr. Kim Minji was having the busiest day of her career, but not in the way anyone expected. Her allergy clinic was packed with patients, but none of them were dying. They were just uncomfortable and wanted advice on how to feel better. The waiting room looked like a support group for people with colds. Everyone was sneezing and blowing their noses, but they were also talking and laughing. Mrs. Hanyungja, an elderly woman who lived near the hospital, had brought homemade ginger tea for everyone in the waiting room. "My grandson gets allergies every spring," she told Dr. Kim. "This alien pollen is stronger, but my tea recipe still works. People just need to drink more fluids and rest." Dr. Kim examined patient after patient. Throughout the day, she noticed something interesting. The alien pollen was actually less irritating than regular ragweed or tree pollen that appeared every spring. Some patients with asthma were breathing better than they had in years. She called her colleague Dr. Cho Soo-young, who ran another allergy clinic across the city. "Dr. Cho," she said, "are you seeing anything unusual with the alien pollen patients?" "Actually, yes," Dr. Cho replied. "The pollen seems to be helping some people with chronic breathing problems. I have 3 patients who say their asthma feels better today than it has in months." This was exactly the opposite of what the aliens expected. Their ultimate biological weapon was actually improving some humans' health conditions. Instead of destroying human civilization, it was accidentally providing medical benefits. Meanwhile, the human economy was booming. Entrepreneur Kim Tae-young saw an opportunity and created a new business called Pollen Shield. Within hours, he had drivers delivering allergy supplies to people's homes faster than pizza. Companies that made face masks were working overtime to meet demand. Janitor Ru Jinwoo became famous on social media after posting videos of himself cleaning pollen off buildings. He wore a simple dust mask and whistled cheerfully while power washing the golden dust away. "Just another day cleaning up after messy visitors," he wrote in his video caption. "This is easier than cleaning up after cherry blossom season." People shared his videos millions of times. Everyone loved how calm and practical he was about the alien invasion. It made the whole situation seem less scary and more like a community cleanup project. The aliens decided to increase their attack. They released stronger concentrations of pollen, hoping to finally break human resistance. Instead, humans adapted even faster. Weather stations started giving pollen reports like they did for regular weather. "Today, the alien pollen index is very high," news reporters said. "Concentrated tree spores are expected in the Gangnam district around noon. People in that area should carry extra tissues and consider wearing masks." What the Valnorians did not realize was that their biology was completely different from humans. Valnorians were plant-based creatures who absorbed nutrients through their skin and breath through specialized pores. To them, foreign pollen was like acid rain. It could cause painful mutations and even death, but Humans were animal-based creatures with internal organs and protective skin. Foreign pollen just made them sneeze. Human immune systems treated alien pollen the same way they treated any other airborne irritant. It was annoying, but manageable. By the third day, Commander Thax was becoming desperate. His war council met in emergency session. The reports from Earth made no sense. Humans were not only surviving, they were turning the attack into entertainment. Sir, one officer reported, humans are now participating in something they call pollen dodging. They run through our spore clouds while holding their breath. They appear to be treating our biological warfare as a recreational activity. Thax watched video footage of teenagers in Seoul running through thick pollen clouds, laughing and competing to see who could hold their breath the longest. They wore colorful masks and treated the deadly weapon like a fun challenge. Even worse, humans were creating art with the pollen street artist. Li Jiwan had started making beautiful murals using the colorful alien pollen as paint. She mixed it with water and created stunning yellow and green patterns on building walls. If they are going to cover our city with this stuff, she told a news reporter, we might as well make something beautiful with other pollen. Artwork became so popular that people from other cities came to Seoul just to see it. Art galleries started planning exhibitions featuring alien pollen paintings. The invasion was accidentally creating a new art movement. Commander Thax realized that his species had made a terrible mistake. They had assumed that all living creatures would react to pollen the same way Velnorians did, but humans were so different that their ultimate weapon was completely useless. Worse than useless, actually. The pollen attack was making humans stronger, not weaker. Their economy was growing. Their people were working together to solve problems. They were even making art out of his biological weapons. Late that night, Thax received the most disturbing report yet. Humans had started leaving gifts outside his ship, small packages containing tissues, herbal tea, and bottles of medicine with notes written in various languages. Get well soon, one note said in Korean. We hope you feel better, another said in English. There were similar messages in Chinese, Spanish, and dozens of other human languages. The humans thought the aliens were sick. They were trying to help their enemies feel better. This concept was so alien to Velnorian thinking that Thax could barely process it. Who helps someone who is attacking them? But the strangest part was that the humans were not completely wrong. The Velnorian crew was suffering since arriving at Earth. The planet's atmosphere contained thousands of different pollens and spores that did not exist on Velnoria. Every breath was painful for the plant-based aliens. Thax realized that Earth was more dangerous to his people than Velnoria was to humans. The very air that humans breathed easily was slowly poisoning his crew. They were the ones who needed help, not the humans. As he prepared for sleep that night, Thax wondered if this invasion had been a mistake. His ultimate weapon had failed completely, and now he was learning that his enemies were more resilient and more kind than he had ever imagined. Tomorrow he would have to decide whether to escalate the attack or try something completely different. But one thing was becoming clear: the humans were not going to surrender to pollen bombs, no matter how much he used. Kim Tae-young was working 18 hours a day, but he had never been happier. His pollen shield delivery service was expanding so fast he could barely keep up. Orders were coming in from every neighborhood in Seoul, and now other cities wanted the service too. He hired his unemployed friends to drive motorcycles loaded with allergy supplies. They wore bright yellow uniforms that matched the alien pollen and delivered tissues, antihistamines, and nasal spray faster than anyone thought possible. Within 3 days, he had expanded to Bisandegu and Incheon. The demand was incredible. People wanted everything delivered to their homes, so they would not have to go outside and breathe the thick pollen air. Tae-young realized he was accidentally building the biggest delivery company in Korean history thanks to an alien invasion. Commander Thax called another emergency meeting with his war council. He was so frustrated that his tentacles were changing color from green to dark purple. How are these creatures still functioning? He demanded at his officers. Our biological weapon should have made their planet uninhabitable by now. Sub-Commander Next looked at the latest surveillance reports. Sir, the humans appear to have created an entire economic system around surviving our attack. They have new businesses, new products, and new services, all designed to help them cope with pollen exposure. Thax studied the reports in disbelief. Humans had turned his ultimate weapon into a business. Opportunity. Instead of surrendering, they were making money. Companies that sold allergy medicine were becoming rich overnight. Face mask manufacturers could not produce enough products to meet demand. What made it worse was that human scientists were studying the alien pollen and publishing research about it. Dr. Kim Minji had written several papers explaining why the Valnorian spores were actually less dangerous than regular Earth plant pollen. The alien pollen particles are larger and less complex than ragweed, she wrote in her research. This makes them easier for human immune systems to filter out. Many patients report feeling better after exposure, which suggests the pollen may have unexpected therapeutic properties. Dr. Kim had become famous around the world for her research. Other scientists were asking for samples of the alien pollen to study. Humans were treating the ultimate weapon like an interesting scientific discovery rather than a threat to their existence. Meanwhile, ordinary people were finding creative ways to deal with the invasion. Park Do-yeon had expanded his convenience store business and was now selling alien invasion survival kits, each containing tissues, eye drops, throat lozenges, and a small bottle of water. The kits were so popular that he started selling them online. People from countries that had not been attacked yet bought them as souvenirs. They wanted to own a piece of the strangest invasion in history. Janitor Ru Jinwoo had become an international celebrity. His videos of cleaning alien pollen while whistling cheerfully had been viewed by millions of people around the world. Companies started offering him money to advertise their cleaning products. "I am just doing my job," he told reporters in his simple way. "If someone makes a mess, you clean it up. It does not matter if the mess comes from aliens or regular people." His calm, practical attitude inspired other people. Cleaning crews around the world started copying his methods. They treated the alien pollen like any other cleaning challenge. Instead of panicking about biological warfare, the Valnorians decided to escalate their attack. They began dropping concentrated spore clusters designed to trigger massive allergic reactions. The new pollen was 3 times stronger than their original weapon and fell in thick yellow chunks instead of light clouds. Instead of finally breaking human resistance, this escalation backfired even more dramatically. Humans turned it into a new sport called extreme pollen dodging. Young people competed to see who could run through the dense spore clusters while wearing only basic protection. Lee Jiwan, the street artist, saw an opportunity in the stronger pollen concentrations. The new spores had more intense colors and created more dramatic artistic effects. She organized pollen painting workshops, teaching other artists how to create beautiful murals using alien biological weapons. Art galleries in Paris, New York, and Tokyo started planning exhibitions of pollen artwork. The alien invasion was accidentally creating an entirely new form of artistic expression. International art critics were calling it the most innovative art movement in decades. Commander Thax watched in horror as humans turned his escalated attack into entertainment, commerce, and creative expression. No matter what he tried, the humans found ways to benefit from it. His medical officer Zix approached with more disturbing news. "Commander, our crew is experiencing severe health problems. The Earth atmosphere contains pollens that are toxic to our plant-based biology. 17 crew members are in critical condition." This was the terrible irony that Thax was beginning to understand. His people were suffering more from being on Earth than humans were suffering from the pollen bombs. The planet that seemed so vulnerable was actually hostile to Valnorian biology. Every breath of Earth air contained thousands of different spores, pollens, and organic particles that did not exist on Valnoria. The alien crews were slowly being poisoned by the very atmosphere they were trying to Polytethax looked at the medical reports with growing alarm. His strongest warriors were becoming weak and sick, while the humans they were attacking seemed to be getting stronger and more creative every day. Meanwhile, on Earth, something beautiful was happening. Communities were working together to help each other through the pollen invasion. Neighbors shared allergy medicine with strangers. Old people taught young people traditional remedies for congestion. Mrs. Han Youngja had organized a network of grandmothers who distributed homemade ginger tea and honey to anyone who needed it. She set up stations throughout Seoul where people could get free comfort food and advice. "This is how we survive difficult times," she told a television reporter. "We take care of each other. We share what we have. We do not let fear make us forget our humanity." Her kindness inspired similar efforts around the world. people realized that the alien attack was bringing out the best in human nature instead of the worst. Communities were becoming stronger, not weaker. By the end of the week, the economic impact was becoming clear. The alien invasion had accidentally created millions of jobs and billions of dollars in new economic activity. Companies were hiring workers to meet the demand for allergy products, artists were making money from pollen artwork, and delivery services were expanding rapidly. Stock markets around the world were reaching record highs. Pharmaceutical companies were developing new allergy treatments based on studying alien pollen technology. Companies were creating air filtration systems. Entertainment companies were producing movies and games about the pollen war, the invasion that was supposed to destroy human civilization was instead making it more prosperous, creative, and united than ever before. As Commander Thax prepared his daily report to the Valnorian High Command, he struggled to find words to explain what was happening. The humans were not just surviving his ultimate weapon, they were thriving because of Ith was beginning to suspect that this invasion had been the worst mistake in Valnorian military history. Instead of conquering Earth, his people might need to surrender and ask the humans for help. But Valnorian pride would not allow him to admit defeat so easily. Tomorrow he would try one more escalation. Maybe if he used every weapon at his disposal, he could finally make the humans understand that they were supposed to be afraid. Captain Li Haiyan was drinking his morning coffee when the sky went dark. The giant alien ship appeared over Seoul like a metal mountain floating in the air. It was so big that people on the streets stopped walking and pointed up with their mouths open. The ship made no sound, but its shadow covered half the city. Li Haiyan dropped his coffee cup and ran to the communication room at the military base. Other officers were already there watching the news on every screen. The same thing was happening all over the world. Giant ships appeared over New York, London, Tokyo, and dozens of other cities all at the same time, like they had planned it for years. Then smaller ships started coming down from the big one. They looked like silver teardrops falling from the sky, hundreds of them, thousands of them. They moved slowly and landed in parks, on rooftops, and in empty parking lots. People gathered around them, but the ships just sat there doing nothing. At exactly noon Seoul time, every television and radio in the world turned on by itself. A strange voice spoke in perfect Korean, English, and every other language at the same time. The voice was deep and scratchy, like someone talking through a broken speaker. "I am Commander Thax of the Valnorian Empire." The voice said, "Your pathetic planet is now under our control. We have come to conquer your world with the most powerful weapon in the galaxy." Li Haiyan listened carefully. He had trained for alien invasion scenarios, but this seemed almost too easy. The alien was telling them exactly what he planned to do. Most smart invaders would attack without warning. Your weak human bodies cannot survive our ultimate biological weapon. Commander Thax continued, "We will release concentrated pollen bombs across your world. Your breathing systems will fail. Your cities will become uninhabitable. You will surrender within days or face total extinction." The broadcast ended and every screen went black. Li Haiyan looked around the room at the other officers. Some were scared, but others looked confused. One young soldier raised his hand. "Sir," he said, "did that alien just say he was going to attack us with pollen?" Li Haiyan nodded slowly. "Yes, he did, like the yellow stuff that makes people sneeze in spring." "Yes, exactly like the..." The room was quiet for a moment. Then someone in the back started laughing. It was quiet at first, but then other people joined in soon. Half the room was giggling. The idea seemed so silly, fighting a war with plant dust, but Li Haiyan stayed serious. He had learned never to underestimate an enemy. Even if their weapon sounded harmless, it might be more dangerous than it appeared. These aliens had traveled across space to get here. They must have had a good reason to think pollen would work. Within an hour, the attack began. Yellow clouds started falling from the alien ships. It looked like fog, but it was thick and golden. It drifted down slowly, covering everything it touched. Cars turned yellow, trees became fuzzy with the stuff. Buildings looked like they had been painted with liquid sunshine. The pollen clouds were so thick that people could barely see across the street. Everyone started sneezing at the same time. It sounded like the whole city had caught a cold. People's eyes turned red and watery noses started running like faucets. Dr. Kim Minji was working at Seoul National University Hospital when the first patients started arriving. She expected to see people choking or struggling to breathe. Instead, she saw exactly What she saw every spring during allergy season, people were uncomfortable, but they were not dying. The first patient was an old man who owned a flower shop. He was sneezing constantly, and his eyes were streaming tears, but he was walking and talking. "Normally, doctor," he said between sneezes, "this is worse than when the cherry trees bloom, but I have felt worse during bad pollen seasons there." Kim examined him carefully. His breathing was fine, his heart rate was normal, his oxygen levels were perfect. He was just very, very allergic to whatever the aliens were dropping. More patients came in throughout the day, a mother with 2 small children, a construction worker, a teenager who had been playing soccer when the clouds came down. All of them had the same symptoms: red eyes, runny noses, constant sneezing, but nothing life-threatening. Kim called her supervisor, Dr. Park, who was handling patients in another part of the hospital. "Dr. Park," she said, "are you seeing anything dangerous with these pollen bomb victims?" Dr. Park was quiet for a moment. "Actually, no," he replied. "They are all just acting like people with bad hay fever. Some of them are even saying they feel better than usual. The pollen seems to be helping people with asthma breathe easier." Meanwhile, across the city, something interesting was happening. People were not panicking. Instead, they were going to pharmacies to buy allergy medicine. Stores that sold tissues ran out of stock in 2 hours. Nasal spray disappeared from shelves. Eye drops became more valuable than gold. Park Do-yun owned a small convenience store near Hongdae University. When the pollen attack started, he thought his business would be ruined. Instead, customers lined up outside his door. Everyone wanted to buy tissues, allergy pills, and bottles of water to wash their eyes. Do-yun had never sold so much medicine in one day. He called his supplier and ordered 10 times his usual amount of allergy products. His store made more money in 6 hours than it usually made in a month. By evening, the alien pollen covered everything in Seoul. The city looked like it had been dusted with golden snow. People were still sneezing, but they were also going about their normal lives. Restaurants stayed open with servers wearing face masks. Students went to classes while blowing their noses constantly. On social media, people started making jokes about the invasion. Someone posted a photo of themselves wearing sunglasses and holding a tissue with the caption, "Ready for alien war." Another person shared a video of their cat sneezing and wrote, "Even my cat is fighting the invasion." The news reporters were having trouble taking the situation seriously. One reporter stood in front of the alien ship trying to give a serious update about the invasion, but she kept sneezing every few seconds. It looked more like a comedy show than a war report. By midnight, Commander Thax was receiving reports from his ship crews all over Earth. The reports were not what he expected. Humans were not surrendering. They were shopping. They were making jokes. They were treating his ultimate weapon like a minor seasonal inconvenience. His Lieutenant Vex approached him nervously. "Commander, the humans are exhibiting strange behavior. They appear to be purchasing small rectangular paper products and consuming liquid medications. Some are even exercising outdoors in the pollen clouds voluntarily." Fax could not understand what he was hearing. His weapon was supposed to destroy human civilization. Instead, it seemed to be helping their economy. Stores were making record profits selling allergy relief products. The stock market had actually gone up because pharmaceutical companies were doing so well. Late that night, Lee Hyun received new orders from the government. "Do not engage the aliens militarily yet. Let them continue their pollen attack and see what happens next. Right now, they are just making everyone sneeze. It is annoying, but it is not really an invasion." Lee Han agreed. The aliens seemed to be trying their best to hurt humans, but they were failing completely. It was like watching someone try to fight a war using dandelion seeds. The worst thing happening was that people needed more tissues. As he went to bed that night, Lee Hyun wondered what the aliens would try next. Clearly, they did not understand human biology very well. Tomorrow would probably bring more pollen and more sneezing, but unless something changed dramatically, this was going to be the most peaceful invasion in history. The first day of the Great Pollen War ended with humans treating it exactly like the worst allergy season ever recorded. Uncomfortable but manageable, and definitely not worth surrendering over. Park Ranger Oh Sung-min was checking the walking trails in Han River Park when he heard a loud crash. The sound came from near the river where families usually had picnics. He ran toward the noise, expecting to find a fallen tree or maybe a car. Instead, he found something that made him stop and stare. A small silver ship had crashed into the grass near the water. It was about the size of a city bus, but shaped like a teardrop. Steam was rising from its surface and strange lights were flashing along its side. A Sungmin approached carefully. He had been trained to handle emergencies, but nobody had taught him what to do when alien spaceships fell out of the sky. The ship had a crack running down one side and yellowish fluid was leaking onto the ground. Then he heard a weak sound coming from inside the ship. It sounded like someone coughing or maybe crying. Sungmin realized there might be an injured alien inside. He forgot about his own safety and looked for a way to get closer. The ship's door was partially open. Sungmin could see inside to where a strange creature was lying on the floor. The being looked like a walking plant with green skin and long tentacles instead of arms. It was clearly in pain and having trouble breathing. The alien's eyes opened. When it saw Sungmin, it tried to move but was too weak. The creature made gasping sounds like it was drowning in air. Instead of being frightened, Sungmin felt sorry for it. The alien looked scared and helpless. Sungmin pulled out his phone and called for medical help. He explained that there was an injured alien in the park and that it needed a doctor immediately. The emergency operator was confused but agreed to send an ambulance. Dr. Kim Minji arrived 20 minutes later with a team of paramedics. She had been studying alien pollen for days, so the hospital thought she would be the best person to help an actual alien. She brought oxygen tanks and medical equipment but had no idea if any of it would work. When she saw the alien, she was amazed. It was clearly a plant-based life form with green photosynthetic skin and root-like appendages instead of feet. The creature was covered in yellow spots that looked like severe allergic reactions. Dr. Sungmin said, "I think it's having trouble breathing. Our air might be poisonous to it." Dr. Kim realized he was right. The alien was suffering from massive allergic reactions to Earth atmosphere. Every breath was painful because the air contained thousands of pollens and spores that did not exist on its home planet. She quickly set up a portable air filtration system and gave the alien what was basically super-strength antihistamines adapted for plant biology. Within minutes, the creature's breathing improved, and the yellow spots on its skin began to fade. The alien opened its large black eyes and looked at Dr. Kim with what seemed like gratitude. It spoke through a small translation device that had survived the crash. You saved me," it said in a weak voice. "Why did you help me?" Were Sungmin laughed gently. He said, "We thought you were just having a really bad gardening accident up there." The alien introduced itself as Sub-Lieutenant Keth. It explained that the crash had happened because the ship could not handle Earth atmosphere. The air was too thick with organic particles that were toxic to Velnorian technology. Dr. Kim asked Keth to explain how the pollen bombing was supposed to work. The alien seemed confused by the question. "Your people should have died immediately," Keth said. "On our world, foreign pollen is deadly. It kills plants instantly and makes the air unbreathable for months. We thought all life forms would react the same way." Sungmin and Dr. Kim looked at each other. Understanding began to dawn. The aliens had not been trying to torture humans. They genuinely believed that pollen exposure would kill everyone quickly. It was supposed to be a mercy compared to other weapons, but humans are not plants, Dr. Kim explained. "Gently, we have been dealing with pollen for millions of years. Our bodies are designed to handle airborne plant particles. It makes us sneeze, but it does not hurt us." Geth stared at her in amazement. "You mean our ultimate weapon is useless against you?" "Not just useless," Dr. Kim said, "actually helpful. Your pollen is less irritating than our regular tree pollen. Some people with breathing problems feel better when they breathe it." The revelation was stunning. The Velnorians had traveled across the galaxy to use a weapon that was not only harmless to humans but actually beneficial. The entire invasion was based on a fundamental misunderstanding of human biology. Meanwhile, news of the rescue was spreading quickly. Social media exploded with posts about the kind humans who saved an injured alien instead of capturing it. Videos of Dr. Kim treating Keth went viral around the world. People were amazed by the alien's appearance. It looked like a walking tree with intelligent eyes. Many people thought it was beautiful in a strange way. Children started drawing pictures of friendly plant aliens and sharing them. Online Commander Thax received reports about the rescue and could not believe what he was hearing. His pilot was not only alive, but being treated with medical care and offered food. The concept was completely foreign to Velnorian military thinking. They helped their enemies. He asked his lieutenant. "It appears so." Lieutenant Vex replied. The humans seemed to believe that injured Beings should be helped regardless of which side they are fighting for. This idea shook Thax to his core. Velnorian military doctrine taught that enemies should be destroyed or left to die. The idea of providing medical care to hostile forces was unthinkable, yet these humans had done exactly that. More disturbing reports kept coming in. Humans around the world were leaving care packages outside crashed alien ships. The packages contained tissues, herbal teas, allergy medications, and notes saying, "Get well soon." In dozens of languages, people had started a social media campaign called Alien Allergies. They shared photos of themselves holding tissues and allergy medicine with messages of support for the suffering. Alien crews. It was the strangest war propaganda anyone had ever seen. Dr. Kim spent hours talking with Keth about the biological differences between their species. She learned that Velnorians reproduced through airborne spores and absorbed nutrients through their skin. They lived in carefully controlled environments where foreign pollens never existed. Earth atmosphere was like poison gas to them. Every breath was painful, and prolonged exposure could cause permanent damage or death. The aliens were suffering far more than the humans they were trying to attack. That explains everything, Dr. Kim said. You are not evil conquerors. You are just scared of biological contamination. Keth nodded weakly. We thought your planet would be easy to conquer because it looks so similar to ours, but your air is full of deadly particles. We have been getting sicker every day since we arrived. Dr. Kim realized that this was not really a war, it was a massive medical emergency. The aliens were slowly being poisoned by Earth atmosphere, while humans were just mildly annoyed by alien pollen. She contacted Captain Lee Hyan at the military base and explained the situation. The aliens were not trying to hurt humans, they were trying to make Earth safe for their own people to breathe. But they had completely misunderstood how human biology worked. Captain Lee was amazed by the revelation. He had been preparing for military action, but now he realized that what the aliens needed was medical help, not military defeat. The news spread quickly around the world. The alien invasion was not really an invasion at all. It was a tragic misunderstanding between two very different forms of life. The aliens were victims of their own biological weapon just as much as humans were. As night fell, Keth was recovering in a specially designed medical tent. His breathing was normal and the allergic reactions were fading. Dr. Kim sat beside him, explaining how Earth plants worked and why humans could survive pollen exposure. Thank you, Keth said quietly. I have never met beings who would help their enemies. I do not understand your species, but I am grateful for your kindness. Dr. Kim smiled. We help because that is what people do when someone is hurt. It does not matter who they are or where they come from. If someone needs help, we try to give it. For the first time since the invasion began, it seemed like peace might be possible. The question was whether Commander Thax would be willing to listen to reason or if his pride would make him continue a war that was hurting his own people more than their enemies. Dr. Cho Suyang had treated thousands of allergy patients in her career, but she had never seen anything like what was happening with the alien invasion. The Velnorians were not trying to hurt humans, they were trying to survive on a planet that was slowly killing them. She called Captain Lee Hyan with an idea that seemed crazy, but might actually work. Captain, she said, what if we help them instead of fighting them? Lee Hyan was quiet for a long moment on the phone. Help the aliens, he said slowly. The ones who declared war on us, they are not really at war with us. Dr. Cho explained. They are having a medical crisis. Your people are plant-based and Earth air is full of particles that are toxic to them. They are probably experiencing the worst allergic reaction in their species history. Just by being here, the idea was so simple that it was brilliant. Instead of treating this as a military problem, they could treat it as a medical emergency. The aliens needed help breathing Earth air, and humans were experts at dealing with airborne allergens. Lee Hyan agreed to let Dr. Cho try communicating with the alien mothership. He arranged for her to use military communication equipment to broadcast directly to Commander Thax. Commander Thax, she said when the connection was established, we are doctors, we think we can help you. Silence from the alien ship lasted so long that Dr. Cho wondered if the communication had failed. Then Commander Thax's voice came through the speakers, sounding confused and suspicious. Help us, he said, but we are at war with your people. No, Dr. Cho replied patiently. You are having a medical crisis. Your people are plant-based, correct? Earth atmosphere has thousands of different pollens and spores. You are probably experiencing severe allergic reactions just from breathing our air. Another long silence followed. Dr. Cho could hear strange sounds in the background that might have been aliens coughing or wheezing. Finally, Thax spoke again, much more quietly. How? Did you know this? Because we have been studying your pollen and treating your injured pilot, Dr. Cho said. We understand now that what you thought was a weapon against us is actually medicine, and what we breathe easily every day is poison to youth. Conversation that followed changed everything. Commander Thax admitted that his crew had been suffering from breathing difficulties, skin irritation, and system failures since arriving at Earth. Many of his people were critically ill from prolonged exposure to Earth atmosphere. Within hours, a remarkable collaboration began. Human doctors worked with Velnorian scientists to understand the biological differences between their species. Dr. Kim Minji led a team that analyzed alien physiology, while Velnorian medical officers shared their advanced knowledge of plant biology. The first breakthrough came when they developed atmospheric filters that could be installed on alien ships. The filters removed the Earth pollens and spores that were poisoning the Velnorian crews. In return, the aliens shared their pollen analysis technology, which revolutionized human allergy treatment. Coffee shop owner Kim Mayong started something called the Interspecies Friendship Cafe movement. She began leaving thermoses of herbal tea outside buildings where aliens were working. The tea was made with ingredients that were safe for plant-based biology. The gesture was so popular that cafes around the world started copying it. People left care packages outside alien research sites containing air purifiers, plant-friendly foods, and get well cards written in multiple languages. The former invasion site was transformed into a temporary medical and research center. Human doctors worked alongside Velnorian scientists in specially designed clean rooms. Both species were learning incredible things from each other. Dr. Kim discovered that Velnorian plant biology could help humans with certain diseases. The aliens had natural compounds that could treat cancer, diabetes, and other conditions that had puzzled human medicine for centuries. In exchange, human atmospheric science helped the Velnorians understand how to survive on planets with complex ecosystems. They had been limited to sterile worlds because they did not know how to handle biological diversity. Commander Thax slowly began to trust the humans. His title changed from military commander to research coordinator as the mission shifted from conquest to scientific collaboration. He worked directly with human scientists wearing a special atmospheric suit that filtered Earth air. The strangest part was how quickly the two species became friends. Velnorian researchers were amazed by human curiosity and creativity. Humans were fascinated by alien plant biology and their completely different way of thinking about life. Lieutenant Keth became the first official alien ambassador to Earth. He recovered completely from his allergic reactions and chose to stay on the planet as a cultural liaison. His gentle personality and obvious gratitude made him popular with humans. Worldwide children especially loved meeting Keth. He looked like a walking tree with kind eyes, and his translation device gave him a soft voice that sounded like wind through leaves. Schools around the world invited him to give presentations about life on other planets. The economic benefits continued to grow. The collaboration between human and alien science created new industries and jobs. Companies developed products for interspecies cooperation. Air filtration technology advanced by decades in just weeks. Park Do-yun expanded his convenience store to sell both human allergy supplies and Velnorian atmospheric filters. His shop became a symbol of the peaceful resolution. Business was booming as humans and aliens shopped side by side. Street artist Li Von artwork became the official symbol of the first peaceful contact between species. Her murals showed human and Velnorian figures working together, surrounded by swirling patterns of colorful spores and pollen. The images were no longer weapons, but symbols of cooperation and mutual understanding. Art galleries around the world displayed her work as examples of how conflict could become collaboration. The most moving moment came when Commander Thax made his first public appearance without his atmospheric suit. He had been treated with human-developed medications that allowed him to breathe Earth air safely for short periods. Standing in Seoul City Center surrounded by thousands of humans, he spoke through his translation device with obvious emotion. Your people saved us, he said. When we came here to conquer, you became doctors. When we attacked, you became teachers. When we were sick, you became "Healers, I do not understand your species, but I am grateful for your kindness." The crowd responded with cheers and applause. Many people were crying as they watched the former enemy express gratitude for human compassion. The moment was broadcast around the world and became one of the most famous speeches in history. Captain Lee Hyen retired from military service to become the first director of interspecies relations. His new job involved helping other alien species learn how to safely visit Earth. Several other civilizations had expressed interest in peaceful contact, sometimes the best defense. He told his replacement is a box of tissues and an open mind. Who would have thought that kindness could be more powerful than weapons? Mrs. Han Youngja received medals from both Earth government and the Valnorian Council for her role in supporting both species during the crisis. She had continued making tea for everyone, human and alien, who needed comfort. "I just made tea," she insisted when reporters asked about her heroism. "That is what you do when someone is not feeling well. It does not matter what planet they come from." As the week ended, the transformation was complete. What had started as an alien invasion had become the most successful first contact in history. The key had been recognizing that the enemies were actually victims and that helping them was better than fighting them. The galaxy would remember Earth as the planet where biological warfare was met with medical care and kindness, where tissues were more powerful than weapons, and where the best way to win a war was to help your enemies feel better. 3 months after the Pollen bombs first fell on Earth, the world looked completely different. The former invasion sites had become bustling centers of interspecies cooperation and scientific research. The new Seoul Interspecies Research Center was the largest and most successful of these facilities. Commander Thax now called himself Research Coordinator. Thax walked through the human-built laboratories wearing his specially designed atmospheric suit. The clear helmet allowed him to breathe filtered air while working directly alongside human scientists. His tentacles moved gracefully as he operated equipment designed for both human hands and Valnorian appendages. Dr. Kim Minji had become the world-leading expert on cross-species respiratory medicine. Her research using Valnorian plant biology had led to breakthrough treatments for asthma, cancer, and autoimmune diseases. She won international recognition and several major science awards. The collaboration had produced amazing results. Human allergy treatments were now 10 times more effective thanks to alien biotechnology. Valnorian atmospheric suits allowed plant-based aliens to explore diverse worlds safely for the first time in their species history. Park Doyun Convenience Store had evolved into something nobody could have imagined. It now carried supplies for dozens of different alien species that had come to Earth for peaceful contact. His shelves held human tissues alongside Valnorian atmospheric filters and breathing aids for silicon-based visitors from the Rigel system. "Business is good," he told reporters while restocking shelves. Who would have thought that the best preparation for alien invasion was running a well-stocked pharmacy? The economic impact continued to grow. Earth had become the center of interspecies trade and diplomacy. Tourism from other planets brought billions of dollars to the global economy. Humans were getting rich by being helpful and friendly to alien visitors. Street artist Lee Ji-won Pollen murals had spread around the world. Her artwork adorned government buildings, universities, and the headquarters of major corporations. The swirling patterns of human and alien cooperation had become the universal symbol of peaceful first contact. She had been commissioned to create the official artwork for the Galactic Peace Treaty signing ceremony. Her newest piece showed representatives from 12 different species working together with streams of colorful particles representing their diverse biologies flowing together in harmony. The ceremony was held at the new Seoul Center with delegates from across the galaxy. Present were the silicon-based crystallites who breathed methane, the energy-based photons who absorbed light directly, and even the mysterious void dwellers who existed partially outside normal space. Captain Lee Hyen wore his new uniform as Director of Interspecies Relations. His military training had prepared him for conflict, but his new job involved preventing conflicts through understanding and cooperation. He had become an expert in alien biology, psychology, and cultural differences. Sometimes the best defense, he explained to new diplomatic trainees at the ceremony, is a box of tissues and an open mind. We learned that what seems like an attack might just be a misunderstanding. When someone is suffering, the right response is to help them feel better. The ceremony was attended by representatives from over 50 different worlds. Earth had become famous throughout the galaxy as the planet where biological warfare was met with antihistamines and kindness. The story had spread to every corner of known space. Mrs. Hanyungjia, now 87 years old, sat in the front row wearing medals from 7 different planetary governments. She had continued her tea distribution program and now served refreshments to visitors from dozens of species. Each alien race had different dietary needs, but she had learned to prepare something suitable for everyone. "I just make tea," she repeated to the assembled delegates when asked to speak. "That is what you do when someone is not feeling well. It does not matter what planet they come from or how many tentacles they have. Everyone feels better with a warm drink and someone who cares her." Words were translated into 43 different languages and broadcast across the galaxy. The simple wisdom of treating others with kindness, regardless of their origin, had become a guiding principle. For interspecies relations, Sub-Lieutenant Keth had been promoted to Cultural Ambassador and was now permanently stationed on Earth. He lived in a specially designed habitat in Seoul and had become beloved by humans everywhere. His gentle personality and obvious gratitude made him the perfect representative of peaceful contact. Children especially loved Ambassador Keth. He visited schools regularly to teach about life on other worlds. His presentations always ended with him thanking humans for saving his life and showing that former enemies could become the best of friends. The medical benefits of the collaboration continued to amaze scientists. Velnorian plant compounds were curing diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Human atmospheric science was allowing plant-based species to explore the galaxy safely for the first time. Dr. Cho Soo-young had established the first interspecies medical college where human and alien doctors trained together. Her breakthrough insight that medical problems required medical solutions rather than military ones had changed how conflicts were resolved throughout the galaxy. The original Velnorian pollen weapons had been completely retired and replaced with sophisticated atmospheric analysis equipment. The same technology that had been designed to poison planets was now used to make them safer and more habitable for all forms of life. Kim Tae-young Pollen Shield Delivery Service had evolved into the galaxy's largest interspecies supply company. His bright yellow uniformed drivers now delivered goods to alien settlements on Earth and human colonies on other planets. The company's slogan was "Helping everyone breathe easy." Janitor Ru Jinwoo had become an unexpected celebrity throughout the galaxy. His simple, practical approach to cleaning up messes had inspired people on dozens of worlds. His videos were required viewing at diplomatic academies as examples of staying calm during crises.